Hi, this is Beata Johns from Splitcoaststampers. Today I'm going to show you how to make a TriShutterCard. It's a special fold, great for any occasions, and it'll show off your pattern paper beautifully. So let's get started. You will need a 5.5 by 12-inch piece of paper. I use Stampin' Up's textured soft suede, and I score multiple score lines, usually with my Scor-Pal, because it's easy and fast and very accurate. So score at 2, 4, 8, and 10. Then put that aside and get your paper cutter out. Line up your cardstock horizontally and line it up with 1.5 inches. Score from your first score line, cut from your first score line at 10 inches down to your first score line at 2 inches. Move it over to the 4-inch mark and do the same cut again from 2 inches to 10 inches. This is your card base. Now we're going to pre-fold the score lines. First in Mountain Valley fold, first one up, second one down, third one up, fourth one down. Now we take the middle score lines and push them in the opposite direction. Down and up. There we go. This will be your card base. Now I'm going to decorate. I leave it like this so I can decorate the front at first. I already pre-cut all my pieces, otherwise we'll be here for a long time. Wait one second. There we go. Sorry, I had it the wrong way. I cut my cardstock 1/4 inch smaller than each section, and then cut the designer paper 3/16 inch of a smaller than the cardstock. I didn't make it 1/4 inch because I wanted to show off the pattern paper more than the cardstock. I'm gonna just start taping this down. I also added paper piercing. I like to add that to most of my cards. It's just another extra border without having to add an extra layer of cardstock. There we go. And then for the two big pieces, this pattern paper is from Stampin' Up. It's a new pattern pack. It's called Thoroughly Modern. And it's my favorite pack right now. I like the muted color. Oh, before we tape this on, there we go, another mistake for me. I want to tie a ribbon here. And I'll line up the ribbon and go over and under with my left piece. Pull it tight, put the top ribbon down and go over and under with my left piece again. Twist the ends a little bit and you'll get a flat knot. There. Now we cut the ribbon edges off and you have a beautiful knot. Okay, now let's try that again. Now when I tape in cardstock pieces directly on another cardstock piece with ribbon on it, I actually use score tape. It sticks really good and makes sure this layer won't come off. 1 second, sorry about that. Take the paper off. And stick it on. Now everything I have for my card front is done. What I want to do next is a sentiment. I selected from Verve stamps from the stamp set Beautiful Kindness, and I used this saying. Now I want to paper pierce again, and I get a lot of questions about paper piercing ovals or circles. It is just as simple as doing straight lines. What you start out with is your template. This is the Stampin' Up template that comes in the matte pack. And I usually start when I know I'm not going to do a whole oval because this sentiment is in the way. I start here, that way it will match up with the end. And what you do is you line up the template guide line with the edge of your cardstock and you pierce. Next you turn, you keep the piercer in the cardstock, you turn your template until this line lines up again with the edge of the cardstock, and you keep on going. Pierce and turn. You can turn, I call it the turn and piece. So this, how you can do circles as well as ovals. And I cheated and already have this ready. I'm gonna adhere this to the card base with dimensionals. And I have to be careful that I don't put the dimensionals on one of the back pieces. That would close my card up. There's my sentiment. Now I want to add a flower down here. It's from Stampin' Up! From the Pretties kit. And I want to create a nice centerpiece. Now this is a 1-inch cardstock circle, and it looks a little bit boring. So I'm going to stamp in here to tie it in with the stamp set. I'm using the butterfly, the small butterfly from the Verve set, Beautiful Kindness. Ink it up with chocolate chip and stamp it straight over. Whoops. Now I already have some design, and I'm going to sponge the edge of the cardstock to give it a softer look. Plus, I love sponging. It makes everything prettier. Now we have that. We could already put it on the flower and it looks better, but I'm going to add just one more touch-up. And I'm going to distress the edges. You can use your fingers like this, or if you have a special tool, it makes it a little bit easier. You can just scratch along the edges to give it an aged look. What I will do now is add a little bit of crystal effect to give it a shiny gloss. So I just fill the entire piece of cardstock. It's a clear drying glue, so when it's done, it'll look like a page pebble. Of course, now I can't tape that, so I'm going to put it aside, and I already prepared one that was done. I hope you can still see the stamped image. And I'm going to stick it on with dimensionals to finish off my card front. And move it down a little bit so we can see Kindness stuff. So here's my card front. Then you continue to just add little pieces, tape them down until your entire card is done. This little swirl is from the same stamp set. I only used Verve stamps for this card. All my ovals are cut with oval nestabilities. I love these tools. They make cutting shapes so easy. So I'll just have to tape those on, and then the card is done. I hope you have fun with this and create lots of beautiful cards.